Neville Goddard, a renowned spiritual teacher and author, believed that the key of manifesting one's desires lay not in external circumstances, but rather in the realm of imagination. Now, according to Neville Goddard, the imagination is a powerful tool that can be harnessed to bring forth reality, and he developed a unique technique that we're going to talk about in this video that you can use to manifest whatever that you want. Now, the basis for manifesting, according to Neville Goddard, involves using the imagination to create a vivid mental picture of one's desired outcome, and then holding on to that image with unwavering conviction until it becomes a reality. Now, another way of saying this is the law of assumption. Now, according to Neville Goddard, the law of assumption states that by assuming the feeling of the wish fulfilled, we can manifest our desires. So what we're saying is, when you assume that you are or you have what you desire, using your imagination, where you are creating a scene of you already having what you want to manifest, a detailed, vivid scene, feeling yourself in that state, that thing will be brought into this physical reality. That thing will be manifested into this reality. That is the law of assumption. So his basis is we must assume the feeling, attitude, and experience of already having what we want to manifest rather than trying to figure out how we can get it. So for example, let's say someone wants to manifest a new job. Instead of trying to figure out how you can get the job, you can easily use your imagination, assuming that you already have that job and you're already experiencing the feelings and the emotions that comes with it. That way, you can easily manifest that job. So in today's video, I'm just going to share a unique, rare technique. I don't know if many of you have heard about this technique that Neville Goddard himself talked about, that you can make use of if using your imagination is taking long, or maybe you're not so good at creating a vivid mental picture for you to manifest your desire. You can easily make use of this technique. And I'm telling you, this is much more simpler and it works, obviously.
Neville had a vision. Well, the Bible tells us that the depths of our own being speaks to us through the medium of dreams and vision. So here in this dream of mine, call it a dream if you will, it was just as real as this, I was taken in spirit into an enormous mansion. And here, 3 generations were present, but one was invisible, and that was the grandfather. The father was explaining to his children the secret of his own father's success. So there was the grandfather now departed from the world, leaving behind him an enormous fortune for the benefit of his son and then his grandchildren. And so the father said to the children, grandfather used to say, while standing on an empty lot, I remember when this was an empty lot. Then he would paint a word picture so vividly of what he intended to do with that empty lot, that it ceased to be an empty lot, and you saw the structure that he intended to build. But he acted as though it was already a completed act. He began with the feeling of having arrived at his ideal for that empty lot. Then I woke on my bed, and I recalled the dream. And I knew that the depths of my own being had constructed that scene to instruct me. Here is one facet of the great use of this power called imagination, which is God. It was too early to rise, so I went back to sleep, and I redreamed the dream. This time, I am the grandfather. I am not the father telling the story. I am not an eavesdropper listening to the story as it was told in the original dream, I am now the grandfather. Then I would say to everyone, by standing on an empty lot, I remember when this was an empty lot. So she reminded him of this technique. Now she said, you are afraid that you might be let out after 27 years and 2 months in Jones and Lockton. I will now remember when you were afraid.
Now let's break down this technique. So Neville said he had a dream or a vision, however you may want to say it, where there was a grandfather standing on an empty lot. And now this grandfather then made an affirmation that I remember when this was an empty lot. Now, to my own understanding, this empty lot can represent your 3D reality that you want to change, your undesired reality right now. Since you want to manifest something new, whatever reality that you're experiencing is not the reality that you want. So that is an empty lot for you. So you then make an affirmation. I remember when. So let's say you want to manifest a job and you are unemployed right now. You can say, I remember when I was not employed. I remember when I was unemployed, right? And then as you do that, you now have to make a vivid picture of you having that job, of you having your wish fulfilled. So again, the law of assumption is in play. You have to create a mental picture that shows that you already have your fulfilled desire. Now, this technique is not just about making an affirmation and having a mental exercise, but rather it's a deep-seated emotional and spiritual experience. Now, as you paint that picture, you have to go all the way to feel yourself as if it's already done. Remember, the feeling is the secret. As within, so without. The whole point is to change your state of consciousness, your thought, your emotion as well. So you have to feel yourself to have arrived to that fulfilled desire. You have arrived to that point where you have what you want to manifest. Now you have to be really clear with what is it that you really want to manifest and make this affirmation believing that you already are where you want to be. Live in the end. The end is where we begin, okay? So you have arrived to where you want to be. You make that affirmation. I remember when things were not okay. I remember when I was broke. I remember when I don't know what you want to manifest, but I think you get the picture of what I'm trying to say. And then as you do that, you paint a vivid mental picture of you having that fulfilled desire. Feeling yourself, you have to have the emotion and you have to be intense about it. Neville Goddard always talked about this. Like, you have to be intense. Either you're hot or you're cold. There's no intermediate. So you have to be intense. Your feeling, your emotions should reflect that you are in the fulfilled state. Now, what I love about this technique is that it makes use of two things in one, right? Like, it makes use of affirmations and you using your imagination, right? So it makes it easy also to paint that picture. Like, if you say, or you stand on the mirror and you're like, I remember when things were not okay. Like, I remember when I was unemployed. It's easy for you to paint that picture where you're now employed and actually get to that point where you feel yourself as if it's already done. It makes it easy rather than just having to close your eyes and then decide on like, what scene should I create? I don't know, maybe for some of you it's easy, but like for me, I find this technique much more easier to make use of my imagination. So I hope this technique will help you manifest whatever that you want to manifest. Thank you for watching. I hope you have a great day.